Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good wherever you are. Guys, I've just woken up. It's about 4 o'clock and I've just woken up. I had a long night last night. I didn't get to bed till late. I was doing some stuff on my, sorting some stuff out, you know, work stuff on my laptop. Um, but yeah, you know what? I thought I'd be a lot worse. I think I've taken that defeat from Khan pretty well. I saw some comments. I obviously saw the comments. I read some of you guys. Oh, you're not giving Kell Brook credit. And look, I give Kell Brook credit. He did well. He won the fight. He was the better man of the night without question. It was blatant. He dominated the fight. And he battered Amir Khan. Amir Khan's face was really badly battered. People are asking me what next for Kell Brook, what next for Amir Khan. Firstly, about Amir Khan, like I think he's almost but confirmed his retirement. Amir Khan can't fight on. He was totally past his best. His legs were gone. His coordination wasn't there. He was a shadow of his former self. His style hasn't aged well. If you go watch my prediction video before the fight, when I said I think Brook wins this, I said that Amir Khan's style isn't going to age well. And it didn't. It didn't. We saw against Crawford, but everybody was saying, oh, that's Crawford. He's the best pound for pound. But now he lost to a shot Brook. And Brook dominated the fight. Let's be brutally honest. And Amir was all over the place. Even when he was walking to the ring, he didn't look like... his legs didn't look right. He looked really off. Like Amir Khan's had so many big fights and so many big occasions. He looked so nervous. Like, he just looked off. And that's not taking anything away from Brook, but he did well. But Brook, for me, wasn't that impressive either. He did what he had to do to beat Amir Khan, and he beat him well. But you have to take into account who he was in there with. Let's be brutally honest. He was in there against somebody who was clearly past his best. Like, Brook's past his best, but Brook's style has aged much better than Khan's style. But Amir was all over the place. He was all over the place, and I don't know how they didn't even notice that prior in camp, because surely Amir would have noticed that I haven't got it anymore. My legs aren't there. I'm not the fighter I was. But it was just surprising that I'm surprising that he could he took this fight, because really, he shouldn't have been in the ring. He was he's just going to take punishment. And personally, I think at this point that Amir Khan wouldn't even beat a British level fighter. And that's no disrespect to him, because those guys in his prime wouldn't have been able to tie a shoelace. He would have beaten him easy. But right now, I'm going off what Amir Khan is right now. I don't think he's even a Brit. Like, I think even British level fighters could be competitive against him. He's, yeah. Like, it's a bit like when Paulie Malignaggi fought Sam Eggington, and Sam Eggington beat him, and you're like, Paulie Malignaggi losing to Sam Eggington. But that just shows how far gone Paulie Malignaggi was. And Amir Khan fought, look, there's no shame in losing to Kell Brook, because Kell Brook was a former world champion, a good fighter. But at this point, Amir Khan would lose to a lot worse than Kell Brook. A lot worse. And by the way, Kell Brook's probably European level at this point. I think Avanesian, for me, Avanesian's not a top 10 welterweight. That's how deep I think the welterweight division is. And I think Avanesian would beat Kell Brook. Kell Brook for me is past his best as well. Now, should he fight Eubank? Absolutely not, in my opinion. I think he will fight on, but I don't think he should. I think if he fights Eubank, I think he gets beat. If he fights Conor Ben, I actually think Conor Ben would brutally stop him. Because Conor Ben, for me, is actually a very brutal, ruthless fighter. And I just don't think... I don't think Kell Brook's got the kind of power to hurt Conor Ben. Like, if he couldn't hurt... Like, he was hurting Amir Khan, but Amir Khan didn't have his legs under him. Amir Khan took all of his shots. And he was taking flush shots from round 1 to round 6. And he didn't even get a knockdown. Basically, Khan was just hanging in there. If Conor Ben was in there with Amir Khan last night, I think it would have been over pretty quick. I think it would have been over, because I think if Conor Benn had landed, I think Conor Benn's more explosive than Kell Brook. I've said this all along, that explosive punches are very dangerous because they can wipe you out. And we saw what Conor Benn did to Algieri, who I actually think Algieri would that Algieri that fought Conor Benn would probably beat Amir Khan, this Amir Khan that Kell Brook beat. I'm being serious. Um, so yeah, I think Conor Benn and Eubank would be a wrong fight. Personally, I think for Kell Brook, he's beaten, look, his arch rival. Um, there isn't going to be anything bigger than him. It's only going to be downhill for Kell Brook if he fights young, fresh guys. So I think retirement is what the route he should be going down as well. Do I think he'll do it? Probably not. I think he'll be lured in with a couple of million on the table, and he'll probably fight on. But personally, I think Kell Brook should retire. I do. I don't think. I think health is more important. Um, and I don't think he should be fighting Eubank or Conor Benn. But that again, if he'll probably do it. He probably will fight. But I just think, your health is your wealth. And personally, I don't think he should be risking his health at this point, especially the fact that he's got two eye sockets. And someone was saying, I didn't really see, but someone was saying that Kell Brook's eye was a little bit swollen. And Amir Khan didn't even land a lot. Here's the thing, like Kell Brook's got like metal plates in his eyes. If he gets hit there flush, you don't know what reaction you could get. Especially, you have to realize who he was in there against as well. He was in there against a guy that was, completely off, completely gone. So if he fights a young, fresh guy like Conor Benn, I think Conor Benn would do some serious damage. I do, and Eubanks as well. I actually think, bizarrely enough, if he's gonna fight one of them, I actually think he should fight Eubank, because Eubank for me is a bit of a weird fight. He doesn't really throw a lot of punches. I know he knocked. Look, it wouldn't surprise me if Eubank does the same thing he did to Liam Williams to Kell Brook, where he hits him with jabs, and Kell Brook, because I think that performance last night it flattened people to where Kell Brook is. I just think he was fighting somebody that was totally shot to pieces. I don't think Kell Brook should be fighting those young guys, because those guys are in their prime. Although Eubank is, look, I actually think a prime Kell Brook probably beats Eubank, yeah. But this isn't a prime Kell Brook. Kell Brook yesterday didn't look that great. He was swinging wildly, missing a lot of shots. Eubank for me, although technically deficient, I think he would have too much for Kell Brook. A lot of people, look, Matthew Macklin said that I think Kell Brook should retire. Even Johnny Nelson hinted at it. I just don't think that. I don't think Kell Brook should be fighting on. What's he got to prove? He's never going to win a world title. He's never going to win a world title. He's nowhere near world level at 147 or a 154. Like 154, like imagine him against Charlo, because like even Liam Smith would batter him, in my opinion. So, yeah, Kell Brook for me, I look, Conor Benn, I don't think I don't like that fight, to be honest with you. I think Kell Brook's had a good career. He's won a world title. He's beaten Amir Khan, and he can sail off into the sunset. Why risk your health? He must have made a lot of money. Look, Kell Brook's probably not made as much money as Amir Khan, so for him, he may think a couple more paydays. But for me, you've got to be wise. You've got to be, you've got to think about your health, and you need to probably. I think it's time for him to call it a day. I think Amir Khan, on the other hand, as well, he needs to call it a day. He doesn't have it anymore. He doesn't have what he used to have. His style has aged not very well. I think both of them, both Khan and Kell Brook, didn't really live the life that well. Amir had a young man style. Brook's style ages a bit better, but it was kind of sad to watch on Khan's part as a Khan fan, and what he's done in his career and how great a career he's had. I know some of you were saying, "Oh, Khan's a hype job" and stuff like that. Come on, behave. 17-year-old Olympic silver medalist, a unified former, light welterweight champion. Some of the dominant performances he had. This was just a totally shot version of Amir Khan. I don't know why people hate on Amir Khan so much. I don't know whether it's because he's so famous, or I don't know, but it's clear to see that he was a shell of the guy we once knew. And Kell Brook was also past his best. He was also past his best, but Khan was a lot more past his best than Brook was. And I just don't know how he didn't realize in the training camp that he was past his best. Because fighters, for me, generally can tell when their time's up. And Amir was saying prior to the fight that, I know he did say that he's going to continue. This isn't the last fight. But then he also gave indications a month before that, this is going to be last and I'm done. On Instagram, he said, I'm going to fight this fight and then I'm done. So he hinted that he was going to retire. But then as closer to the fight, he then started saying he wasn't going to retire. But was that because he didn't want people to think that he's retiring? Because then it kind of takes the gloss of the fight. And he wanted to make out that he's still got a career after this. But yeah, after the fight, he basically confirmed retirement, which I think is the right thing. There's no point of carrying on and getting hurt like that and getting beat up like that. Boxing's a very, very dangerous sport, as you guys know. And Amir Khan took a beating in there. His face was messed up, and it was the same against Crawford. He was all messed up. Yeah, look, he's had a great career. He needs to sail off. And for Kell Brook, same. He needs to sail off into the sunset. I don't see it getting better for Kell Brook. I only see it getting worse. And his performance was flat. I think people are going to be flattered by the fact that who he was fighting and the state that he was in. He was a lot less damaged, or I would say his style was a lot less shot than Amir Khan's, and he did well. But against a young Ben, no. Against Eubank, no. I don't think he can fight for a world title at any weight class. He's just, for me, like, the fact that Eubank even wants to fight Kell Brook is ridiculous as far as I'm concerned, because what does that do for Eubank's career? Why would Eubank want to fight Kell Brook, a past his prime welterweight? What does that do for Eubank's career? It just tells you that maybe Eubank's just in it for the dough. He's never won a world title. Surely he would want to win a world title. That's what every fighter dreams of doing, winning world titles. And he's never won a world title. So I don't understand. I think Eubank should fight for fighting for world titles. Why fight Kell Brook? I didn't even understand. I didn't even understand when he was calling him out. I thought it was quite embarrassing. And personally, if I was Kell Brook, I think he should go out. I think he should go out on the high. Personally, that's just my opinion. I've just given you my honest opinion. I don't think Kell Brook beats Ben or Eubank, and he definitely would have beaten both of them in his prime. So why lose to two guys that you probably would have beaten in your prime? So I think Ben would be a horrific fight, because I just think Ben's improving. He's explosive, and I would favor Conor Benn to beat Kell Brook quite emphatically. I think Conor Benn's got serious power. He's fast. He's spiteful. I think Brook's past it. I do. I don't think that's a good fight for him. So yeah, I think both will I don't know about Kell Brook. I think Kell Brook will probably move on and probably fight. Amir Khan will never see him in a boxing ring again. Obviously, he hasn't officially confirmed his retirement, but I'd assume in the next coming weeks, I think you'll probably hear him retire from boxing. Because, like I said, he knows that that's it. He didn't have it. He said the love for the sport is gone. The attributes are gone. So yeah, and Kell Brook kind of the same. Like I said, his style has aged a little bit better, but still, I think he's not the fighter he was. And when you're talking about fighting another guy that was washed up like yourself, is different. But when you're talking about fighting a young guy who's hungry, who wants it, yeah, I don't think he should fight. I don't think Kell should fight on. I think he should retire on that great win. That's my take. Leave your thoughts though. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And guys, remember to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.